This is Watermelon Slim from Clarksdale, Mississippi. You're listening to Nothing But the Blues with my buddy Cliff.
Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? I've been hearing his name all over this land. Rainy night out in the engine house, sleeping silent as a mouse. Man, come along to us out in the rain. Vigilante man, have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? I've been hearing his name all over this land. Sometimes my trouble, hey, drag me down. Sometimes I don't know how I'm gonna make it around. Trouble overwhelms me like a wild stampede herd of cattle. Vigilante. Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Carrying his sawed-off shotgun in his hand. Would he shoot his brother and sister down? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? I've been hearing his name all over this land.
Woody Guthrie's Vigilante Man, as performed by Watermelon Slim, from Slim's very first album, Merry Airbrakes, which came out in 1973. I got to interview Slim when he played in Leicester on the 29th of March, and so today's show is clips from the interview and some of Slim's music. And I started off by asking him about the author credits on Merry Airbrakes. I'm saying on Merry Airbrakes, there are songs credited to Peter Holmes,
Yes.
your brother.
Peter Homans, my brother, is 2 years younger than I am. My mother and father had me in Boston, Massachusetts. Within my first year, moved to Arlington, Virginia, had my brother and divorced, which is how I ended up growing up in North Carolina. My brother is a world-famous classical composer. His degree from the New England Conservatory. He is currently the benefactor of I can't remember the name of the person, but the very finest viola player in the world, and my brother's works are regularly performed at Carnegie Hall.
So what was it like working with him? It must be like Mozart meets Muddy Waters kind of thing.
No, I was, my brother was already well established. My brother was always much faster at things than I was. I was a wannabe. I could write some songs, and I was always, well, frankly, I was always a better singer than he was.
Yeah.
But no, my brother was already a classical composer, and I was rather confused, a little bit drug-ridden Vietnam vet who happened to write songs and play some. I was learning the blues at this point, but my brother already had a classical education.
Mm-hmm. I don't suppose you've got a box of Merry Airbrakes under your bed, have you?
I don't have a copy to my name at the present time, except for one of the original copies, one of the original reissues I own, the only one that still has the shrink wrap on it.
Okay.
It is a piece of art, a cult item within another piece of art, because the cover itself is a linoleum block print and is utterly unique. I'd like to sell it, but I don't know exactly where. Probably eBay is the thing to do, but I know I wouldn't want anything less than a few $1,000s for it, which might make me make a profit on Merry Airbrakes after 40 years.
Yeah. Well, used copies are going on Amazon for between $90 and $160.
Oh, I've seen them for $500.
Jeez, wow. God.
It's a huge cult item, but I've never made any money on it.
Shame.
I believe it might be time for life to put me on the shelf. Believe it might be time for life to put me on the shelf. Y'all die just like I live, tougher than old death himself. Have dived into life just as deep and hard as anybody can. Have dived into life just as deep and hard as anybody can. And if I go to hit the bottom, I'll die a working man. If you're standing around my gravesite, be surprised if I jump off. If you're standing around my gravesite, you don't be surprised if I jump off. And say, give these friends about a drink. Hey, Mr. Undertaker, fill my cup. You can sing the blues, don't you cry no tears for me. You can sing the blues, but don't you cry no tears for me. Cause I'm harder and I'm stronger than old death could ever be. I ain't got no trepidation. I'm standing on the brain. I ain't got no trepidation. I'm standing on the brain. And if old death comes to take me, I'll stare him in the eye and wing. 'Cause I'm in my going home gear, boy, to a better place I know. Yes, I'm rolling for a better place I know. My last words of advice to you people: don't sweat it when it's your time to go. Last words of advice: don't sweat it when it's your time to go.
That was The Last Blues from Slim's 2004 album Up Close and Personal. Some of the earlier songs seemed a bit doom-laden. Things like Got My Will Made Out and The Last Blues from Up Close and Personal.
That's Up Close and Personal, yes.
Let It Be in Memphis from
Yes.
Big Shoes to Fill. They seem a bit sort of down.
Yes, well, let me explain that.
Please do.
My blues basically deals with three main themes. First of all, work. And I don't mean ticky computer work and stuff. I mean work with your body. I'm a grunt laborer and truck driver by career. And secondly, long-term relationships, not teenage angst, but long-term relationships between people. And the third theme that comes up time and time again, as you've just said, is my own mortality. The Last Blues was actually originally titled after my heart attack, which I had on October the 9th, 2002, before I recorded Up Close and Personal. It was prophetic, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so I do sing about that. If I ever have to die, let it be in Memphis.
Do you still think that?
That is part of Let It Be in Memphis, yes.
Yeah, would you still like to die in Memphis?
Oh, would I still like to? It doesn't really matter, you know, as long as I'm determined not to die in a hospital. Mm-hmm. As Macbeth said in his play, at least we'll die with harness on our back. Mm-hmm. And I will. I'm a revolutionary that I will not die in a hospital bed.
Mm-hmm. One of the more humorous takes on that was Too Old Is Getting Younger All the Time.
Yes, which isn't humorous at all.
Well, no, it's true.
It's utterly true. If I could see, like I can see today, mm-hmm. back in 1971, I might not have been such a rebel. Might never have done a whole lot of things I should not have done. I'm not proud of everything I've ever done. I also reference Satchel Paige in that song, the great Negro League pitcher who by the time he was in his 40s was finally allowed to pitch in the major leagues and still had it. But his most famous quote was, "Don't look back because something might be gaining on you." And that's me. Yeah. I'm hammer down, highballing, till that white line comes to an end. Mm-hmm. take it with you to your grave. No matter where you turn to run, one day your part in life will be done. And sometimes I'm in the groove, sometimes I'm bumming, but I just can't stop thinking about that big day coming. If I ever have to die, let it be in Memphis. It's a limited time offer. Get it on and lose it forever. Dive into the sea or die of thirst on the shore. Might not be nobody listening anyway in a time when you're long gone. But I'm cutting my little path through the evermore. When I draw my pay, might be the blues, might be depression, but whatever it is, it has made an impression. No matter who you know up high, can't stop it, baby, when it's time to die. No matter what you got to show, all debts are canceled when it's time to go. No matter why, no matter when, you ain't going down this old road again. And sometimes I'm in the groove, sometimes I'm bumming, but I just can't stop thinking about that big day coming. If I ever have to die, let it be in Memphis. And if I ever have to die, let it be in Memphis.
That was Let It Be in Memphis from Slim's 2003 album, Big Shoes to Fill. We come on to the later albums then. Cambridge coincided with the launch of Escape from the Chicken Coop.
That would be Escape from the Chicken Coop, yes.
Which was, I thought, was a fantastic album. We had it on in the car.
It is, and we've got more copies of that left over here tonight than anything else.
Really? We had that in the car for 6 months solid.
I am so complimented at that because I think it's, well, I've got over 100 published songs, but I've never recorded a drop of filler in anything I've ever done. But Escape from the Chicken Coop is dedicated to all the truckers, especially of the United States, but also all the drivers that have taken me around the world doing this touring thing, but especially the truck drivers.
The 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the album was that it divided your audience. That the blues guys didn't know what to make about Hank Williams. You wrote my life.
Let me exactly comment on that because you've hit closer than you know. The record has never sold. Neither has Ringer's, its successor, because it wasn't marketed right to begin with. I said to everyone involved in my business dealings, this needs to be in every truck stop jukebox in the United States. If I can sell to 1% of the 20 million people who drive for a living in the United States, and that's 200,000 copies. And suddenly I've got a small but sizable hit. It's not platinum or gold or anything, but I haven't sold half that many records in my entire career at this point, including the one I won Best Blues album or band or anything else. I may have sold 20,000 copies of that one. But if we'd actually got it into the truck stops, then it would have sold. But my management and my booking and my agents and everybody else didn't listen to me. So I may have sold 4,000 or 5,000 copies of those two records, Escape from the Chicken Coop and Ringers, all combined. It's just such a shame. But as I say, you hit closer than you know, because one major Nashville reviewer told Fred Litwin, the executive of Northern Blues, my label, I'm not going to review this because this is too blue to be country and too country to be blues.
Can't win.
You can't win.
Yeah.
So I don't ever expect the music business to recognize me. Maybe the blues business a little bit, but I don't ever expect the music business to recognize me.
Well, Ringers pushed it a bit further,
I'm just lucky that I make a living at music.
Doing what you like.
I make my living playing gigs like what I'm going to play here tonight at the Musician in Leicester, United Kingdom.
Yeah, I was saying Ringers pushed it even further because things like tight-fitting jeans, cowboys are common as sin. As you say, that would have gone down brilliant with the truck stop.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That, by the way, on Ringers, "Cowboys Are Common as Sin." That's my favorite song on that record, because I've been hearing that in my head since it came out. It was written by a fellow named Vern Gosden, and it's a great song. And it's always been one of my favorite country songs.
Yeah.
You wanna call at every truck stop. You wanna cry at every lonely jukebox. Sitting thinking coffee's cold. Well, truck driving buddy, let's hit the road. Truck driving buddy, looking blue. You wanna talk, boy, I'll talk to you. Bet I know what's on your mind. Sweet gal waiting for you down the line. Well, last time I seen you standing by, do you think I knew what was sitting in your eye? It gets rough, think you're losing your mind. Long, long road don't never seem to unwind. You wanna call her at every truck stop. You wanna cry at every lonely jukebox. Sitting thinking coffee's cold. Well, truck driving buddy, let's hit the road. Time means nothing when you're getting tired. Drink your coffee, it's time to start. I picked up and heading on down that road. The quicker you get there, the quicker you unload. You wanna call her at every truck stop. You wanna cry at every lonely jukebox. Sitting thinking coffee's cold. Well, truck driving buddy, let's hit the road. You wanna call her at every truck stop. You wanna cry at every lonely jukebox. Sitting thinking coffee's cold. Well, truck driving buddy, let's hit the road.
Driving Buddy from Ringers. Okissippy Blues. How did the collaboration with Super Chicken come about?
Well, it kind of happened this way. Now, first of all, I'll preface this by telling you that Super Chicken, James Johnson, is Robert Johnson's great nephew.
Oh,
Super
really?
Chicken is Robert Johnson's sister's grandson.
Good grief.
And so that's royalty right there. It doesn't get any
Absolutely.
more royalty than that. And the Johnsons live in Clarksdale, many of them. So I was hanging around Clarksdale before I was living there. I've got a history with people in Clarksdale. I got friends there, and one of Chicken's friends, actually, the man who was managing Super Chicken at that point, Charlie Birch, suggested that Chicken and I do a record together. Now, I said, okay, that sounds good. So I eagerly did it, and we recorded it at Royal Studios in Memphis. Now, Royal Studios is very special because it was the studio owned by the late Willie Pops Mitchell, Al Green's producer of all his hits, and a legendary figure in Memphis music. He died in 2010, and I was one of the people that played at his funeral. A great fellow. So his grandson, Boo, was the engineer and co-producer, and when I left Royal Studios, Pops himself was at the board.
Amazing.
You won't see him listed as producer, but you will see his name on there because he was dear to me, and he respected me just like John Lee Hooker respected me. Then it gets complicated. Excuse me. I told Fred Litwin of Northern Blues that I had made this record, and that really ruffled everybody's feathers, that I would presume to initiate my own project rather than letting them do it. I'll tell you, Cliff, I've always been considered to be somewhat incompetent by everyone that I've ever worked with. They say, well, you may play all right, but you let us do the business. Well, I'm older than all of them, of course. And I have more degrees than all of them. The record didn't actually come out until more than 4 years after it was recorded.
That's right. Some of it was recorded in 2010. Most of it was recorded
in 2007.
Yeah.
And didn't come out until 2011.
Right. I thought some of it was actually recorded in 2010 as well. No. Okay. Sorry.
Part of it was recorded in 2010 because certain cuts were discarded.
Okay.
And replaced with specifically with Keep Your Lamp Trimmed and Burning, the one other cut, I'm trying to remember what the heck the name of it was, one of Chicken's cuts, and most notably the fusion of African, Afro-American, and Beatles music, and which also Indian music, are called "Within You, Without You," Dande,
yes,
which was taken from the very first Zimbabwean riff that I ever heard when I started playing African thumb piano.
Really?
Now out here, I will show you, if you want to take a picture of it, I have a Zabuzima, which is the African, which is the Zimbabwean African thumb piano that I finally, after 36 years, obtained one of last year.
Right. You're going to be playing it tonight?
No, I'm not going to play it
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But I am going to be playing the South African kalimba.
All right. Okay.
I don't do it much because I've got so little time to do so much music.
Yeah.
Every time, well, I have to take it easy because I've got 6 gigs in a row this time. This is my 4th one tonight, and so far my voice is fine, but I could break down at any time, so I have to kind of take it easy. And most people want to hear the blues, so I'm doing a song by an English poet reworked by Simon and Garfunkel tonight on the African thumb piano.
Okay. Well, we'll be in the audience. On the Okissippi, you had Northwest Regional Medical Centre Blues.
Yeah.
Was that a true story?
Well, yeah. Now you remember Big Shoes to Fill?
Well, you had it on there as Shed
All
My
right,
Blood in Mississippi.
You heard Shed My Blood in Mississippi,
Right, yeah.
on
Which is
Big
the same.
Shoes to Fill. Northwest Regional Medical Center Blues is the rest of the story.
Right.
And yes, it's all a true story. If you'll notice, you look at me closely, you'll see that this ear is lower, perceptibly lower than the other, and my face is perceptibly to the right. Well, my face was crushed in. I was left for dead after a mugging on the street of Clarksdale in a parking lot. The police then threw me out of town with me on charges, with a piece of jawbone sticking in my tongue, multiple compound jaw fractures and a concussion. I drove all the way to Oklahoma. And then the ACLU, our American Civil Liberties Union, said, no, your rights were not violated. They had the right to throw you out of the hospital without treating you. I now know exactly what happened to black people in segregation days when the sign said, don't let us see you on these streets after sundown. Now, it was partly my fault, of course, because I had driven a long way and I had played and I'd taken a few drinks. So I wasn't as on guard for danger as I should have been. Although I didn't deserve to be beaten and robbed and left for dead. But yeah, my rights were violated. So I know exactly what happened to black people in Clarksdale years ago, in the old days. And it's having been a blues man already, it confirmed some things for me.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want anybody else to go through that. Sure. I mean, it was. I know what's happened to me. I may not have actually picked cotton, but I've done work just as hard as anybody did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I went back again, just briefly, to the 3 themes: work, relationships, and death. We're all going to die.
Absolutely.
I'm going to die.
Yep.
I've come real close to it any number of times. But I always tell death, if you're going to take me, you go take a number and sit in the seats over here on the right. We'll call you.
Now, way down in Mississippi, they got him a blues museum. The director said he could use me there, so I drove down to see him. Fell down on my knees at the crossroads, and I sang Mr. Johnson's song. How was I to know, people, how bad things could go wrong? I have played all over this country and Europe and Asia too. New York to Vietnam, there've been a whole lot of bad places I've been through. Fought myself out of a few scrapes, talked myself out of a whole bunch more. But I had to go down to Clarksdale, Mississippi to get my face knocked through the floor. I said, whoa, boys, better watch out everywhere you go. Because just when you least expect it, you may meet Mississippi so-and-so. You know, I walked into a juke joint and I sat down and played the blues. The folks there said they liked my style. Won't you please have a drink? I did not refuse. The sun went down and one drink turned into two or three. I had let my guard down a little, and the world crashed down on me. I staggered off to another juke joint, had some harps in my coat. Some bad boys got a hold of me. People, that was all she wrote. I know I got one punch in, but they got me down and broke my jaw, left me knocked down and bleeding. But I got taken down by the law. I said, oh boys, the blues have surely laid me low. Now I'm busted up recovering from mean Mississippi so-and-so. Now, folks, I played the blues on both coasts, Memphis and Chicago in between. Played with Champion Jack in Paris and on the streets of New Orleans. I have played with Can Heat and Cotton, Bonnie Raitt and Robert Cray. Vietnam to Amsterdam, thought I'd never see the day when, whoa, boys, the blues would take the dog shit out of me. I'd see something I didn't see. It's been a long blue road, but I've learned everything I know. And I thought I'd seen everything till I met me in Mississippi, so and so.
Shed My Blood in Mississippi, from Big Shoes to Fill. Moving away from the records.
Yes.
You went to Pine Top's funeral. Did you
I
ever get
did.
to play with him?
I got to play with Pine Top a few times, or Pine Top got to play with me. The last time that Pine Top played with me and the Workers, we were at Ground Zero down in Clarksdale, and that would have been 2009 in May. And Pine Top wouldn't get off the stage after playing 4 numbers with us. The last time I saw him was at his 97th birthday in fall of 2010, and he was playing that night, but I that was down at the Shack Up Inn at the Hobson Plantation in Clarksdale. And I went over and paid my happy birthday respects and whatnot. But I went home. There was a lot of people that wanted to be part of Pine Top's aura. I know him real well, and so when he died, well, wasn't unexpected. And I did go to his funeral, and then. Last year, Willie Big Eyes also died. Willie Big Eyes Smith. Bob Stroger's still around. Paul Osher's still around. I played with various of Muddy's musicians and various of Hook's musicians, and played with Hubert Sumlin. He died. We've had a lot of people go down. Yeah. My dear friend John Alec Mason, only 38 years old,
that was tragic,
died.
Yeah.
In an outpatient cancer procedure. Yeah. Suddenly, poof. Louisiana Red just died.
Yeah.
We're losing a bunch. You know what? You remember the line in Paul Butterfield's song there. The Blues are all right. There's somebody left to play the game. All my friends are going, and things just don't seem the same. And that's why I use that third theme, because I've always known nobody gets out of these blues alive. And I'm going down after a while myself. So death, I don't care. I'm harder and I'm stronger than old death can ever be, like the song goes.
You've played with an awful lot of people.
I have. I've wormed my way on stage with a hell of a lot of people. Let me say that the greatest void in my career, the greatest incompletion in my career, is that I have never been hired as any established musician's regular musician myself. I've hired great musicians, but I've never been part of any other, quotes, legendary, unquote, blues man's band or group.
If you could, including if you could bring people back from the dead, who would you like to still play with?
Hook.
I thought you played with Hooker.
I did.
Oh, you'd still like to play it again? Wouldn't we all?
You know it. He's my number one. Here's the Tears. The T-I-E-R-S. Here's the Tears. Hooker's on top. Hooker's the number one musician and hero that I have in life. On the next tier, somewhere very close to John Lee Hooker, but because I didn't play with them, come Muddy and the Wolf and William Shakespeare and Jimmy Carter and Nelson Mandela. That's the next tier down of mortal men. Mm-hmm. And Stovall Brown gets up on there too.
Right.
Because he's the greatest, of my living musicians. James Cotton is somewhere close to that tier.
And he's still around?
Yes. Junior Wells is somewhere up in there. And then then beyond that, there's a whole lot of other blues musicians that I would love to, living and dead, that I would love to play with, and that includes Pine Top and Honey Boy. I'm currently working. I played with him about 4 times last year down at Red's with the current oldest living performing blues man, T. Model Ford.
Oh, of course, yeah.
T. Model will be 92 in June, and right now that perhaps I'm hoping that the next recording project that I do, perhaps not my next release, but the next recordings that I make will be what realistically will probably be T. Model's last recordings of his life. I hope it won't be his last, but that's my next recording project is T. Model Ford, probably.
We talked about the Watermelon Slim and the Workers albums last time. Are the Workers still a band?
Well, here's the situation for the Workers. For 2009 and 10, we were living in different places. I was in Mississippi. Cliff and Ronnie are still in Oklahoma City. And Stovall Brown that replaced Michael Newberry. I didn't expect Mike to quit after 2008, but he did, and so Stovall, who is the only musical hero of my own generation that I have, and a genius musician in every instrument that I play or anybody in my band plays, including drums, which was his very first instrument. I said, okay, Stove, you want to play with us? I'd love to have you along. And for some reason or other, he, rather than playing with all the extremely prestigious musicians that he plays with, came along and did 2 years as Watermelon Slim's drummer.
He was drumming with you in Cambridge when we saw
him. Right. That was Stovall.
Didn't he co-produce Up Close and
Personal? He did co-produce Big Shoes to Fill and some of the Up Close and Personal sessions.
You reworked Archetypal Blues as well, didn't you? You had it on Up Close and Personal, and then had Archetypal Blues #2.
Yes. It's such a good song that...
completely different arrangement, though.
Mostly different arrangement. I actually used the extra 2 bar, the extra 2 bars in the #2 that I do in the second verse of the #1. So it's and the chords are the same, but it's basically a different arrangement. But we as a band have always played that song. That's as I keep telling people out there, me and Captain Ahab wrote that together. And Captain Ahab and I have followed our dreams. And he followed it. Captain Ahab, the main character or anti-hero or whatever you want to call it in Moby Dick followed his dreams so hard and obsessively that he ended up strapped to a whale at the bottom of the ocean, and took all of his crew except for Ishmael to death with him. Me, I followed my dreams so hard, though not obsessively, that I've ended up in the warm, safe harbor of people's hospitality.
Was that your inspiration for the Whalers Holler that you do?
Oh, well, no, that's not, that's different.
Okay.
I'll tell you about the Whalers' battle cry.
Battle cry, yes, sorry.
The Whalers' battle cry is extremely important. It's the statement of my revolutionary spirit. I am a revolutionary. I am a lifetime revolutionary, and I will always be someone looking to strike for the life of the capitalist system because it's destroying people. And I am aware of it, and I'm strong enough to keep on going. And I stand there poised with my dart, waiting for that little glimpse of that unguarded spot where I can throw it in there and make them bleed.
Absolutely.
And I know I'll die eventually, and you know, but the battle goes on forever.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming for you, I say to Leviathan. We're coming.
Uh-huh.
I can top will stop right there, right there. The blues, it ain't low down heart disease. The blues, it ain't low down aching heart disease. Not tuberculosis or just like cancer, killing me by degrees. The blues, Lord, is a low down shaking still. The blues, woo, they low down shaking still. If you ain't never had a boy, I hope that you never will.
Archetypal blues from up close and personal. Well, as Slim announced at the top of the hour, this has been Nothing But the Blues with me, Cliff, and the website is nothingbuttheblues.co.uk. There you'll find the playlist, links to all the previous shows, and a link to the interview I did with Slim when he headlined the Cambridge Festival in 2009. It's a completely different interview because I didn't want to overlap, so this interview this time was a sort of catch-up interview, if you like. If you get a chance to see Slim, don't even think about it. Rush out and see him live. The records can only capture a tiny part of the amazing persona that is Watermelon Slim. And rather than go out with another track this time, I'm going to leave Slim the final word.
God bless all you blues fans. If it wasn't for y'all, it wouldn't be no us.